Turn around, hands on the roof. Stop or you will get tasered. It's on video, retard.
You gonna lose your bed.
I ain't gonna lose. You're gonna lose your freedom because you get to go to jail today, mother.
Do you have the temperament to be a police officer?
When I tell you to do something, you do it. End of story. Step out of the car. Turn around, hands on the hood. Hands on the roof. Sit down and shut the up.
Why do you think that throughout your career you have continued to be accused of excessive force?
You will not get up without our permission.
Man, I gotta
sit the down.
In his 12 years on the job, this Melvindale, Michigan police officer has been suspended, criminally charged, fired, and then brought back.
The defendant used coarse language, threw a food bowl across a kitchen.
Do you think he understands de-escalation?
No, I don't.
So why is he still there? Lieutenant Matthew Furman says that the only reason there have been so many allegations against him is because he's, quote, proactive about stopping crime.
Why do you think that throughout your career you have continued to be accused of excessive force?
I think I'm very proactive, and I think I'm involved in a lot more scenes and incidents. If you are proactive and you're hardworking, you are going to get more complaints.
But these aren't just complaints coming from citizens. These are, in some cases, complaints coming from other officers in your department, officers in other departments, your chief in some cases. That's not typical, is it?
I don't know.
He's currently under investigation by both the Michigan State Police and the Melvindale Police Department over a traffic stop that escalated to him tasing the driver.
It's under investigation at this time, and it will be continued to be investigated and thoroughly done.
Officer Furman maintains that he did absolutely nothing wrong. He says it's just another false claim.
Do you have the temperament to be a police officer?
I do.
A lot of people don't think so. Some people in your own department, in fact.
And I've had a lot of people tell me I'm a great police officer.
Before we get to the most recent incident, let's take a look at Officer Furman's history. In 2016, Furman pulled over a mother who was driving her two small children. The vehicle had no insurance, so he ordered the car towed. The woman claimed that instead of letting her wait for her ride to come pick her up, Furman instead dragged her out of the car and onto the ground and forced her onto the vehicle's hood right in front of her children as they watched. Officer Furman did get a 3-day suspension over that. However, that suspension was later overturned by the ironically named Public Safety Commission. A few months later, Furman detained a robbery suspect who alleged that he, quote, slammed his head into a police car while he was handcuffed. But they didn't just have to take that guy's word for it. A lieutenant reported that he witnessed that, and he told the victim that he would, quote, not sweep that incident under the rug. Another officer who was there said under oath that Officer Furman went, quote, way over the line and split the man's head open. But Furman himself told 7 News Detroit that he did nothing wrong. He said that the two officers were mistaken.
Furman told us he didn't cause the injury at all. It was the people the man was stealing from. He said the two officers didn't see what they thought they saw.
They were both lying.
I'm not going to call them liars, but I'm going to say their perspective was probably off. Okay. Because they were halfway down the block.
The former Melvindale police chief, his former boss, said that he tried to rein Officer Furman in, and he ended up getting terminated as a result. In a 2017 lawsuit, that former chief said that Furman, quote, engaged in repeated incidents of police brutality, but that he was discouraged from actually holding him accountable because the city was making such a large amount of money from Officer Furman's repeated towing of citizens' vehicles. In 2019, Officer Furman was criminally charged with assault in Wayne County, Michigan, after he responded to a disorderly conduct complaint. He was accused of throwing an intoxicated man down a flight of stairs. Furman, of course, denied those charges, and he claimed that the man just fell on his own. But then Furman apparently took a plea deal where the assault charge was dismissed in exchange to him agreeing to the conviction of, quote, willful neglect of duty.
Our other top story at this hour, a Melvindale police sergeant pleading no contest to a charge of willful neglect of duty.
Sergeant Matthew Furman made the plea during an arraignment this afternoon.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give concerning this case will be the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
The defendant used coarse language, threw a food bowl across a kitchen and acted in an unprofessional manner.
Set free on personal bond, he will be required to serve a year of probation, attend anger management classes, pay fines, and restitution. His formal sentencing date has not yet been set.
He was then fired. However, an arbitrator later overturned the termination. Now Furman is telling the news media that he has now withdrawn that no contest plea to that conviction. 2 years later, Furman was part of a high-speed police chase. The suspect had stolen a vehicle, the police said, after striking an officer. Then after his vehicle crashed, he fled on foot before police officers eventually surrounded him. As officers from multiple agencies tried to subdue him, a Dearborn police officer's body cam caught Officer Furman repeatedly stomping on the man's leg. We actually see the officers warning each other that they're being recorded via body cam. Then they stop.
Cameras all around, guys.
A Dearborn officer then reported Furman's use of force to the Melvindale police. But Furman told 7 News Detroit that the man was resisting officers as they tried to handcuff him, so he used the stomps as a form of pain compliance. Furman did not receive any discipline for that. And remarkably, the town's mayor, who employs Furman as a police officer, has said on the record that Furman basically just can't control his anger, doesn't understand de-escalation, and that he's better sitting at a desk than out interacting with the public.
Do you think he understands de-escalation?
Oh, no, I don't. I feel like in the heat of the moment, he needs to learn how to, put aside anger and just do his job.
When we talked to her last month, she said Furman belongs at a desk rather than on the street. That at least one lieutenant in the department doesn't want to respond to calls with Furman, concerned that they'll end in trouble.
When you have other officers saying that they don't want to respond to calls with him, that can potentially cause a problem.
And Officer Furman's temper is the reason why he's now back in the spotlight. On July 20th, Furman stopped the vehicle driven by Dracar Williams for driving around traffic barricades. Also in the vehicle was Williams's girlfriend and 2 small children, ages 2 and 5. Williams' driver's license was suspended. The vehicle he was driving had no valid insurance. And when Furman asked him for his name, he provided a fake one.
You have a driver's license?
I don't. My mother actually just got in an accident.
Do you have a license?
It's at the house.
And it's true that Williams was told more than once to get out of the vehicle.
Go and step out of the car for me.
And why am I stepping out?
Because you're refusing to provide information. I asked
name.
your middle name. That is relevant. And you're refusing to provide it. Step
cooperating.
out of the vehicle now.
Yes.
Next thing is you get tasered. Get out of the car.
This is all standard stuff. Obviously, he needs a license, he needs insurance, and the officer's allowed to order him out of the car. The issue is what happened after he got out of the car. As this is going on, a second officer arrives at the scene. Furman ordered Williams to turn around, put his hands on the roof.
Turn around, hands on the roof.
Can you tell him the cop? Can you tell? I'm not
I
doing
said
it.
hands on the roof. Stop or you will get tasered.
My hands are.
When I tell you to do something, you do it. End of story.
And at that point, Furman's partner can be seen holding Williams's right hand and shoulder. Within seconds of ordering Williams to place his hands behind his back, Furman then suddenly uses his taser in drive stun mode and starts tasing Williams repeatedly.
Relax. I'm not.
Hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Hands behind your back.
You do it.
Furman later claimed that he continued to tase Williams because he believed that Williams tried to grab the taser.
Cooperate.
What am I doing?
Cooperate.
What am I? I'm not doing nothing. You take up. Stop.
Stop.
I'm not doing nothing.
Stop.
I'm not doing. What am I doing? You take.
Stop moving.
After Williams was in custody, Furman turned his attention then to his girlfriend, who he said posed a threat while she was seated in the vehicle and that she needed to be detained.
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car. Step out of the car. Turn around. Hands on the hood. Hands on the roof. Step over here. Step over here. You're being detained right now.
I'm being detained. I'm trying to make somebody. I have to.
Sit down and shut the up.
But most likely he had just once again lost his temper, and the fact that she was recording him just sent him over the edge. Seconds later, he can be heard arguing with Williams once again while Williams is handcuffed on the ground and at one point calling him a retard.
And then you wouldn't get out of the car. And then you wouldn't put your hands behind your back. It's on video, retard.
You a retard?
Yeah.
Furman then heads to his vehicle. He determines Williams' real name. Then, after reviewing his criminal history, Furman approaches Williams while he's handcuffed and sitting against a fire truck.
You got a revoked license, so you should have been behind the wheel. You got a ton of warrants. And now you got obstructing and resisting and everything else.
You gonna lose your badge.
I ain't gonna lose, but you're gonna lose your freedom because you get to go to jail today, mother.
After Williams stands up, another officer sits him back down. Then, with Williams still in handcuffs, Furman grabs him by the back of the hair and pulled his head into the fire truck.
You will not get up without our permission.
Man, I gotta
sit the down.
I am sitting down. You pulling my hair.
Furman explained that Williams posed a risk when he stood up, making the force used appropriate. Though the video shows that while he stood up, he was set back down by the other officer. Rather, it just appears that once again he's unable to control his temper.
I gotta sit the down.
Throwing my head against a fire truck while I'm in handcuffs, I can't do nothing. I'm helpless.
My priority is doing whatever I have to do to go home. And if that means somebody gets tasered, then somebody's getting tasered. But I'm going home to my family and my friends. That's my number one goal.
And that, coincidentally, is also the number one reason why he does not have the temperament to be a police officer, because he has his priorities mixed up. In my opinion, the number one reason that you have all these videos, all these incidents around the country is because you have this attitude in certain police officers that they don't care if they arrest an innocent person. They don't care if they harm an innocent person or shoot the wrong person or raid the wrong house or all of these things that they have done. This is a job to them, and their number one priority is their own safety. It's not their oath to any constitution, to any government, to the community. It's their own self-interest. And guys like this, when you challenge their authority, in their minds, you're challenging their own self-interest. You're challenging their family. Guys like this are not serving the public. They're not public servants. This is a job to them. You just comply or else. One thing I've seen over the years is that, yes, people can lie. There can be three sides to every story. But when you have years and years and years of multiple allegations, where there's smoke, there tends to be fire. So why is this guy still here? How difficult is it to get rid of a police officer in Melvindale, Michigan? I mean, this guy got prosecuted, he got fired, yet some arbitrator says he gets to come back. His former police chief couldn't fire him. The mayor admits that he's not a good cop, but she can't even get rid of him. What's missing here? Why is he still here? Because a total lack of accountability. And that's what needs to change. Let me know your opinion on what you've seen here. Do you think that Officer Matthew Furman is a good cop? Do you think he has the appropriate temperament to be a police officer? Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Also follow me on Twitter at JohnBryanESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.